Hey, welcome to episode 167 of the Flipping Genius. And this episode, we're going to talk about how to dominate the market in 6 months. Now, this is a little out of character for me uh, because I really truly focus more on the freedom that our business can bring us, because that's more important to me at age 62 than probably it was at age 32. And I looked at things a little differently, but that doesn't mean that I don't know how to do this. I certainly do know how to do that. And the reason I brought this to your attention is because somebody else brought it to my attention. Garrison and Hillary are from Tennessee, and they recently asked me, and I quote, "How can we dominate? How can we really make a huge impact financially in like 6 months' time?" So that's what I'm going to talk about today. How can you dominate your market in just 6 months? Is it possible? That's the first thing to ask. Is it possible? And the simple answer is yes, it is possible. But it's not without believing it first. Nothing I say would matter if you don't believe that you can do it. And you can do almost anything, with the proper plans and matching efforts and the will to achieve it and the discipline to follow that will and that plan and the flexibility to change and adjust as mandated by the competition, the marketplace, and the economy. All those things come together, you can do what you set out to do. Next, we've got to define the market. When you say you want to dominate the market, and we also have to define dominate. What does that mean? I'm not saying that these definitions will eliminate the possibility of your achieving a goal. In this case, Hillary and Garrison's goal, it's not. It's just important that we understand that goal. And I'm saying that in order to reach the goal, they need to know what it means to them personally. To when we define marketplace, and when we define dominate, what do those things mean to them? If you set out to accomplish the same thing in your personal arena, for instance, it could be totally different to you because your marketplace is possibly different, and your meaning of dominance could be different. So it was important for us to get to know what Garrison and Hillary meant by this. So we had that conversation. This is going to be me talking about this, by the way. We're not going to have these folks on the show. This was a conversation that we had, and I wanted to share it with you. But it's a very real situation for them personally. But I'm not going to give you all the details, but I have disclosed a little bit. So some of you out there may already know who I'm talking about. But that's fine, because this is not it's not secret. They don't plan on keeping it a secret. They plan on coming at you if you are their competition. This is exciting stuff, honestly. So we need to define market, and we need to define dominate, so we understand what exactly those things mean. So in Garrison and Hillary's case, their market is a town of about 25,000 people, where they live in Tennessee. There are about 6 known established used car dealers in that town. There are also a handful of car flippers who are flipping 3 to 10 cars per year. Garrison really knows all the players in the town. That's just kind of the market that they're in. That's their world, and that is the market that they're trying to. That's what they're defining as their market. That's what they're defining as the market that they want to dominate. Their town that they're in, of about 25,000 people. That is their world, and they think it's very realistic. And after honestly, when we first started talking, it scared me a little bit. But as we broke this down, you'll see what I mean. I agree with them. And it's exciting to deal with them, and it's exciting to deal with goals and recognize the opportunities that are there. And they don't want this to happen in 6 years. They want to happen in 6 months. In 6 months, they want to have the dominant position here. And like I said, they think it's realistic, and they don't want to just be a player. They want to dominate that, and that. So we have to determine what that means too. They figured to dominate in their market, they want to sell about every third car that is sold in their marketplace. They want it to have their tag on the back. That's how they see it. So 1 out of every 3 cars sold in their market should be coming from them within the next 6 months. Now, annually in America, we back up and take a look at what we look like as a country. Annually, there is about 1 used car sold for every 8.2 Americans. That's statistically, it varies a little bit, but that's pretty close to what it was last year. A little bit more than 50% of the cars that are used cars that are sold in the United States are sold via retail operations like Hillary and Garrison's operation, my operation. So a little bit, like around 51-52% are sold through retail. So it's about 1 used vehicle is sold via used vehicle retailers like myself out of every 15.6 Americans each year. So in Hillary and Garrison's case, in their town in Tennessee, they expect there will be about 1,600 used vehicles sold each year. 1,600. So we've taken it back from the world to the country to their town, and that's the first thing. We're trying to identify what that marketplace looks like, and then we're going to identify what it means to be dominant. So 1,600 vehicles are being sold in their town on a annual basis. That breaks down to about 133 vehicles per month. So if being dominant in their town and controlling the largest percentage of the market, and as we said, Hillary and Garrison say it's about 1/3. They want to get about 1/3 of those sales. It comes to selling about 45 vehicles per month. Now, to me, that's still a lot of vehicles, but to a lot of you out there, that you already know that is a doable number, and it is definitely a doable number for these folks. So about 1 in every 3 cars being sold comes to 45 vehicles being sold in their market, and that, in their mind, creates a dominant position, and they want to be there in 6 months. Now, they want, like I said, they want all this to come to fruition within 6 months. So that means they have 26 weeks to put this together, put together all the workings and the operation that will be selling, at least 10 vehicles a week. I think that's right. Let me. Yeah. So yeah, within 6 months, they want to build up to a situation where they're retailing about 10 vehicles per week, 45 per month. Sorry, the numbers start to ramble in my head a little bit, but that should be right. And now again, as we back up in the United States, and this number got to me because a lot of you know that I work in the lower scale, but the average cost of a used vehicle in the United States last year was $30,700. $30,700 is kind of amazing to me. And frankly, it was a little bit amazing to them too. And I think in some states it's higher. Tennessee actually is a higher state. If you look at the statistics, statistically, as a state, the number is higher. But in their neck of the woods, when I told them the $30,700 number, they balked at that and said they did not believe that was actually the average in their fairly rural area. And I think it's important to know what you're dealing with. In fact, they think that that is probably close to double what the average is of the vehicles, the used vehicles that are being sold in their area. So if they're accurate, even at $15,000 per vehicle, if they're doing the numbers we're talking about, their gross sales will wind up being $675,000 per month. $675,000 per month, and that's at 50% of what the national averages are for a cost of a vehicle. But we're going with their numbers because they believe that there's a trend in their area for selling more of the vehicles that I sell for $3,000 and $4,000, and that brings that average down. They figure that they're, and I can't get into every number with them, so we have to use some of the numbers that they're using because they're already in this business, but they're trying to build. They calculate that they will need about 50% of their gross sale amount to be paid at the point of purchase. So they're estimating they're going to buy for $1 and sell for $2. Buy for $1, sell for $2, and of course they'll have costs to rebuild the vehicles and get them ready for sale. So 50 cents on every dollar that they're bringing back, they got to put out initially, and that's going to come to $337,500 invested every month in order to get to that dominant reality that they're looking for. Now, $337,500 sounds like a lot of money to this cat, but when you're trying to accomplish the goal that they're trying to accomplish, it is the necessity. That's where you've got to be. But you don't have to be there tomorrow. That's the key. You don't have to be there tomorrow. And their goal, they have to be there in 6 months. That's what they said, 6 months. So in 6 months, time, they want to be in a position where they spend $337,500. They don't want to spend it, but realistically, they feel like they'll have to spend it in order to turn that into the $675 at the other end of that. Now, frankly, it is a lot of money. But, on the positive side, like I said, they don't need to be there right away. And on the really positive side, it's when they get there, when they do get there, assuming that they can accomplish their goal of walking away with 20% net from every deal, which is what they believe they're going to spend about 50% to get into each vehicle, and they're going to walk away after each vehicle, after all their overhead, after all the expenses that they have to recondition the vehicles. They expect to walk away with a 20% profit from the vehicles on average, and that is very realistic, I believe, and that would net them, and here's the positive side, $135,000 a month in profit, or a total per year of $1,620,000 a year from their small town used car dealership in a little town in Tennessee where 25,000 people live. Now, I'll tell you what, you can live a pretty good life in a small town in Tennessee walking away with $1.6 million a year. And the crazy thing is you can do it. You can do it. You got to believe it. You got to perceive it. You got to plan it out. And then once you map it out, you got to do it. So the question, is it realistic for Garrison and Hillary to be able to do this, to make it happen? Well, let's break that down. Let's break it down, because I know some of you are probably thinking, Randy, you've gone over the edge, man. You are crazy. But let me show you why it's not crazy. So first off, we got to look at it. Is it possible to make this happen financially? I mean, it sounds daunting, but it is doable, and here's why. Number one, it's what they want to do, and it's something they are trying to achieve. It's not something that somebody else has dreamed up for them. It's not some franchise plan. This is their plan, and another thing is their personal situation. They have about $150,000 in liquid assets, in pretty much cash, some from some rental property that they've cashed out of, and some other things they've recently sold, and just some cash on hand that they have. So $150,000 in their pocket right now has got them in a pretty good position. Now, it's not anywhere near the, what is it, $337,500 that they need every month to be investing, but they do. They've got $150,000 ready to go right now. They also have excellent credit. Excellent credit, that is key. If you're not already cognizant of it, you got to realize it, that having excellent credit makes a big difference as you move forward, especially if you want to do this Garrison and Hillary have excellent credit, and they have good relationships. We're going to talk about relationships in a little bit, but they can easily, and they've checked this out already, they can easily borrow $100,000 from a local bank just against personal assets they have. So that gives them $250,000 of liquidity right away that they can get started on this goal. And they do not, they don't have to be there immediately. They got 6 months to build up to it. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more too. Now, what about professionally? Are they ready to do this? They actually have a track record, as it turns out, in sales and marketing that could really set them apart of others in their community. They are in a small town. Things are fairly unsophisticated. That doesn't mean everybody's unsophisticated in a small town. Believe me, that's not true. There are a lot of wealthy folks that live in small towns that know what they're doing, but there is less competition there. And the cost of marketing and getting the word out is a little less. So that's a benefit. They do have the know-how, though, how to plan and how to follow through with a plan, how to purchase. They understand reconditioning, marketing, and selling of vehicles, and they have relationships already with good people in those areas. These resources are huge. They have resources for reconditioning work, for the vehicles, both in mechanical and cosmetic body work and such, auto body, auto repair, detailing, as well as a work ethic. They also have some personal skills. Both of them have some skills that they can be used both in repair and in reconditioning. So they can get down and get dirty, and they've got a strong work ethic, strong backs, and willing to go to work. So those are really key. Are you willing to do it? We talked about the will to do this earlier, and they come down to it. They are willing to put in the extra hours and things to accomplish this. When you get the money on the line, you've got to do that. Competitively, these connections with their family, with friends, and those connections that I was just talking about allow them not only to have the ability to make a vehicle profitable for probably a reasonable price, but also they have connections that will allow them some facilities in ideal locations in this little area at very low overhead, which is another benefit of being in a smaller community. But I'm not going to give away all their secrets in case we are talking about, if we are talking to their competition right now. You'll see this within the next few months at what they're going to do, but they've got opportunity to lean on some folks and benefit from their ability to provide location. So location that can be valuable in this, and they do have that opportunity. They also have the ability and desire to purchase a significant number of cars. I am building to 45 plus per month. That is going to put them in a highly competitive position. I'm sorry, an ideal position with wholesalers and auction houses, because these guys become the players right away. As soon as you start buying this number of vehicles, you start getting advantages that the guys who, like me, who are buying 1 and 2 at a time, do not get. You get first pick. You get the phone call before the auction. You get the opportunity of having these vehicles brought to you. You get the opportunity of possibly buying vehicles without any money out of pocket, floor planning, possibly even without interest. These are all different things, and we can go into a lot of these details down the road. We are not going to go into all of them right here, but the fact is that being a player puts you in a position competitively with the people who are trying to move a large numbers of cars, the wholesalers, auction houses, as well as individuals who want to sell their vehicle and don't want to deal with the public. They're going to come to you first because of visibility. So all three of those areas: financial, professional, competitively, they're in good shape to accomplish all these things. It looks like they're on their path, right? So realistically, yes. I mean, remember that old question, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer, we heard this a zillion times, one bite at a time. And that is the same thing here. That's the same thing here. Sure, a $337,500 per month buying budget sounds crazy to most of us, but that's just $78,000 per week. just $78,000 per week, and Hillary and Garrison have that in their pocket right now. Cash, money, ready to go. They've got more than double that, about double that. They are ready to go week one to get this thing started. You don't want to roll up all your money up right out of the chute, but they can get into it. And remember, the goal is to not just return that money back. The goal is to double that and keep 20% of it's coming back as profit. And the better you are at doing that, the more money your money is making. So yeah, and they have because they've got building time, they've got time to escalate this thing to where they want to be, and they can continue to roll those profits into increased inventory, and it's actually very doable. One bite at a time. It's how you do it. Honestly, there's more to it than we can cover here today. Because I know you got limits on how long you want to listen, but details about staffing, wholesaling opportunities, potential partnership opportunities with some of the people we've already talked with, and other people that will come out of the woodwork after you start getting this thing rolling. Excuse me. The context of the kids have already developed, in their past, and will develop a lot more. But the big question here is, how do you dominate your market in 6 months? Excuse me. It's pretty much answered, right? It's actually for Hillary and Garrison, it's pretty much underway. And this is one of the reasons why they have decided to work with us at Flipping Genius as flipping partners of our operation. You've heard me talk about it. My personal goals, sure, my personal goals are for my flipping operation do not at all mirror Hillary and Garrison's in any way, and that's fine. I just want to be free, to golf and have fun at the beach or the lake or whenever my bride says she wants to go. It does not, it does not matter to me to be dominant in my marketplace. And it does not mean that I don't know how to do it. And helping from the sidelines and watching that scoreboard light up is still a lot of fun. And if you haven't already joined the flipping, join us as a flipping team member, or flipping partner, or flipping champion, please consider it. We can help you too. And remember that the number one goal of the Flipping Genius podcast is and always has been to help our listeners and now our viewers make more money. And we'd love to help you reach your goals too. You can reach out to me at email at flippingquestions@gmail.com. Be happy to talk about what your plans are and see if there's something we can do to help you. Or write me at the Car Flipping Forum. You can find all the links to everything at our website, flippinggenius.com, flippinggenius.com. Just like it says above the old Cadillac, if you're watching the YouTube video, or just go to Flipping Genius with only one G if you're listening to the podcast. And I appreciate you listening and watching. I appreciate you subscribing and being a team member and being a champion and being a partner of Flipping Genius. Hey, let's work together. Let's make some money. Let's all become flipping geniuses.